Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Cara herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. So, I want to talk about having trust issues while in a relationship. So most people don't really put too much of a thought to how damaging having trust issues can be. So I want to talk about that because I know that there are many of us who struggle with this situation. Not only that we struggle with it, I have heard people say that they have trust issues, and that's pretty much beat it, No one really put too much of a thought to it, nor do they even take it into consideration that is a big deal. It's almost like a cliche, like you're so used to hearing people say something or a phrase or something like that to where you just throw it and sweep it under the rug like it just isn't a big deal, but it actually is. So I want to talk about these things because I feel like if you put some thought to your trust issues, then you will be able to deal with your trust issues in a better way to where you can resolve the issue. Because that's the whole thing about having a trust issue is the issue itself. Why do you have trust issues? What is it that's causing you, or what was it that is causing you to have this problem? So let's get into it and go deeper into it, and let's talk about trust issues. So trust issues can significantly impact a relationship, as trust is one of the most fundamental pillars of any healthy relationship. So we already talked about healthy relationship. So in order to have a healthy relationship, you have to deal with your issues, okay? And that's what we're going to learn about when we continue on with this podcast. So let's go ahead and explore some more into it. Let's talk about what is trust issues, because most of the time people would talk about that they have trust issues, but you really don't know what it is. It's just easy to say, I don't trust this person, or I have a hard time trusting people. So, trust issues occur when one or both partners struggle to feel secure in the relationship due to fear, doubt, or past experiences. These doubts might manifest itself as suspicious, insecurity, or even the inability to rely on one another. So that is what trust issues are. It's some type of fear there, some doubt. You don't really believe them, and maybe past experiences, things that you went through in your life and everything. You dealt with some issues back then, so it makes it hard to trust people. So put it this way, you're a child. And when you are a child, you have your parents. You rely on your parents to raise you, right. You rely on them to raise you well. And not only raise you well, but to house you, clothe you, feed you, do those things. Well, let's say that doesn't happen. Now it's like the very person who brought you into the world is not doing what they're supposed to do to make sure that you grow up to be healthy, strong, and also a law-abiding citizen of the world. Then if that doesn't happen, what does it do to you? Well, your psyche, it makes you doubt if anyone else is capable of loving you or treating you well because your parents didn't do so. So that's what we would be talking about, the past experiences. Now, the doubt and the fear as well is added into that as well. So it doesn't even have to be anything related to your parenting. It can be something that's what relationship that you had before, how you trusted someone and they betrayed you and they broke your trust. And it don't even have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a friendship, because I've had a friend, well, quite a few, that I trusted and then come to find out that they really didn't like me. They was using me. And now when they was done with using me, they showed their true colors, and now we're no longer acquainted with each other. So what caused trust issue? What is it besides what I just said? Let's talk about a little bit more. So you have past betrayal and trauma. Okay. I did talk about some of that, but let's talk about it in a little bit more of detail. So experiences like infidelity, dishonesty, or emotional manipulation in previous relationships can leave deep emotional scars, making it hard for you to trust again. So some people, and I'm going to say, let's say you're in a new relationship, you feel like you love the person and the person is loving you, and this person you with haven't shown you any reason to distrust them, but you do. And it's not that person, it's you, because of what happened in your previous relationship, causing you to not feel secure in the new relationship. Okay? So then you also have unhealed personal insecurities. So unhealed personal insecurities, what it is low self-esteem or fear of rejection. It can cause you to doubt your partner's intentions or their loyalty. If you have those type of issues and rooted into you, you're going to have to do some self-work. Might need to take some more classes where you can start building your self-esteem, because you have to start working on your inner you, okay? The person who's in you, inside of you. That is not your partner's fault. That is on you. And by the way, it's really unfair to your partner that they have to deal with unhealed personal insecurities. I've dealt with some situations like this before, and believe me, it is hard. I mean, very hard to deal with a person who you didn't do anything to them or even given them a reason to be the way they are, and they still have insecure problems. That is a situation where you, if you have these issues, you're going to have to work on yourself. I honestly believe that you shouldn't even be in a relationship if you have this type of situation. If you got this type of situation going on, you shouldn't be in a relationship. You should be single. You start healing. You have to work on yourself. And it's hard to work on yourself while in a relationship, because you have to give your time and energy to your partner, which takes away it takes away from you pouring into yourself. Okay. So then you got poor communication, misunderstanding, lack of transparency, or avoidance of difficult communications. can lead to feelings of distrust. I've known people who are afraid to talk and they avoid each other. And when you avoid what you need to be attacking, it does come to an end where you will have to deal with it one way or another. And sometimes if you don't deal with it, it can cause a misunderstanding when the person is talking to you about something. You never gotten a chance to resolve your issue, so you end up talking about something that isn't even relevant. And that does bring about misunderstanding, or you not paying attention to what the person's actually telling you because your mind is somewhere else and you're just not giving them your full attention to understand what's going on. So when you end up creating that poor communication, you missing bits and pieces of what was supposed to be understood, okay? And then, you, of course, lack of transparency. If you're not being honest and open to your partner, to your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, then you also will have that poor communication going on because you're not honest. It's just what it is. Okay, so let's talk about inconsistent behavior. There's a lot of people that, I'm sorry, but when I see a person is not consistent in their behavior, to me, they're unstable. That's how I see it. They're just unstable, and there's plenty of reason, and it's valid to have trust issues with a person like this. Okay, so you're not alone if you're dealing with someone who behavior is very inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get from them. So when your partner's words and action don't align, it can be very confusing. But not only that, it creates uncertainty and doubt. If you're dealing with a person who they tell you tomorrow, I'll make sure I take the kids to school, you don't have to get up. So you go ahead and you try to lay down and get some good sleep, and the alarm go off for the kids to go to school, and they still there. And then you roll over and you see your partner still laying, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought you were going to take them to school. Oh, I don't really feel like it today. Once you go ahead, babe, I'll take them tomorrow. Okay, well, you said that you was going to, and I really needed to sleep, and you didn't do that. You don't understand how important it is for me to get some sleep. Well, over time, it might seem small to you, but over time, it becomes a big problem. And I'm just talking about something as small as that. Now, we can talk about something super bigger than that. Let's say, for instance, if you're dealing with a narcissist and the narcissist said that they won't call you out of your name anymore, and the next time that you do something that they're not happy with, and then here they go, calling you out of your name. Well, that's inconsistent behavior, you know. Or you could say that is consistent behavior because you already was expecting them to do that. But it's still not lining up. The words and the actions are still not lining up, okay? So let's talk about controlling and possessive behavior. Well, I just kind of led right into that, right? So if your partner feels overly controlled or monitored, let's say if you are the controller and you're trying to control them and they feel overly controlled or monitored by you, trust issues can arise as a defense mechanism, okay? Just letting you know that all of a sudden they can become very defensive towards you because you're not giving them the space that they need to be able to be free. No one is anyone's possession. So you got to understand that you don't have the authority to control another human being. Now, even though you have your children, that's different. Yes, you have to get control of your kids, but when they're grown, there's no more of that controlling. So, excuse me, trying to clear my throat here. So let's talk about family dynamics. Family dynamics, growing up in an environment where trust was repeatedly broken It can be broken by your parents or by someone who's a caregiver to you, or even a teacher or anything like that. It can shape your ability to trust in adults, okay? Other adults, as well as trusting, period, in your adulthood. It can shape your ability of just trusting others, okay? And if you have that situation, this is where you're going to need to get some therapy, some counseling, because it's deeply rooted in you now. And this is not an overnight fix. This is going to be an ongoing process that you're going to have to start addressing some issues, especially if the person is still alive. Now you're going to have to go and talk to them and address these issues. And even if you can't talk to the person, because sometimes it's hard to go back and confront an adult that was in your life as a child and try to tell them about the things they did to you when you was a kid, or try to tell them about things that, how they made you feel. Most of the time, they will deny it like it ain't true. They will tell you this is not real, you're lying, you're making it up, because they know it's true. And they don't want to face it. And they thought that it was something that was in their past, and they want to leave it there because they don't want to face it. I always tell people, be careful how you treat someone, especially kids, because at some point in their life, they're going to grow up. They're going to become adults just like you. And then they're not going to forget what you did to them. And they're going to come back to you, and they're going to express themselves to you. Or if they don't express themselves with words, they're going to do something to you. And then you're going to be like, where is this coming from? And the whole time they've been holding on to that past hurt. So now they got the chance to retaliate because they're stronger now. And they're able to do whatever they want to do. You might be even weaker because don't forget, you age. Adults, we get older, we get weaker, our bones get fragile, our mind start changing. We can't remember like we did when we was younger. So you probably forgotten how you treated this child. And that child remember every detail from detail how you treated them. And then you're wondering why they're jumping on you. Be careful how you treat young adults, okay? Little children as well. Just saying. And if you happen to be one of those ones who was mistreated as a child, my advice is for you to get some therapy before you go trying to confront the person, because your anger will arise. It will come out of you because all that hurt, all that trauma is just balled up in you and is ready to be released. And you don't know how it's going to come out. You have no idea what it's going to come out like. And you don't want it to come out the wrong way. And then now you behind bars because you either killed them or you beat them to death or you did some craziness to them. So please get you some therapy first. Get the help that you need first. All right. Now we're going to move on. And we're going to talk about signs of trust issues. How do you know that you have trust issues? Now, it's easy for us to say, oh, I got trust issues, because we know that we just don't trust people. But how do we know this, though? What is it? What are the signs? How can you recognize it? Because what if it ain't you that have trust issue, but your partner do? Your boyfriend, your husband, your daughter. Well, can't say your daughter. But your mate has trust issues and you don't. Well, let's talk about it. Consistent suspicious. Person is just always suspicious about things. That is a very good sign that either they have trust issues or you're suspicious about things all the time. That means you have trust issues. That's a sign. So questioning your mate's actions, whereabouts, or intentions without concrete evidence. So you're suspicious and you don't have any concrete evidence to go off of. You just have this in your head. This is where you get people saying, oh, they're gaslighting you. Well, in that situation, you're not being gaslighted because you don't have concrete evidence that the person did what you say they did. All right? So have the evidence. Then that doesn't make it it doesn't make it a trust issue anymore. It just make it to where something happened and it needs to be addressed. All right. Here's another one. Difficulty being vulnerable. Yeah. Avoiding emotional intimacy for fear of being hurt.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. I've noticed that when I be watching these TV shows, these reality shows, as well as just movies or whatever, I've been paying attention to these two words, vulnerability and transparency. Those two things I've been paying attention to. I hear it a lot, maybe because I'm teaching on this type of things, I'm coaching on these type of things. But what I'm noticing is that we're in an era where we are expressing ourselves a lot more than we used to back when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. So back when I was growing up as a child in the 80s, I didn't hear people talk about vulnerability and transparency and nothing like that. And if you did show vulnerability, it was almost like you was going to be ridiculed. You know, you ain't strong enough. Especially growing up in the African American community, Black community. We have this thing about us where, if you didn't know I was Black, yeah, I'm Black, okay? For those of you who didn't know that, I'll just let you know. Yes, I'm Black. Well, we have this thing where we felt like we shouldn't open up. You should keep your feelings balled in, because when you express yourself, now you're making the other person feel uncomfortable, and they should be able to talk to you without the emotions involved. And when emotions do arise, then now there's an argument with that, because it's almost like, I don't want to hear that. Why are you telling me about that? Because usually when we talk about anything that's making us vulnerable and open up, it's usually because it comes from pain. It comes from somebody hurting us. So now we have to release it. And when we try to release it, okay, the person that's hearing it is feeling uncomfortable because it might be them who caused the pain, or someone that they love, like their child or their sibling or their parents, and they don't like it. They don't want to hear about it. So opening up, crying, especially if you was a boy, that's even worse. So it was like, oh, you need to man up. You acting like a little punk or whatever, and they would literally will call you that. And that, to me, like, I have a son, and I tell him, look, express yourself. How do you really feel? Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Open up. Don't hold that stuff in. I'm listening. Whatever you say, you're safe. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to let y'all, and you're not going to be unpunished. You can say how you feel. And he'd be like, well, how I feel is, I don't, and then he'll get right into it, you know? And I'm like, okay, well, because see, this is what I told my son. I said, I'm not going to be one of those parents where I'm I told you so parent. I'm not that kind of person. Oh, do it because I told you so. No, I am the kind of person where I will explain to you why. I do go into explanations. I have had a friend that told me that one time. He said, why you do that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, when I ask you something, instead of just giving me an answer, you explain your answer. And I say, I know I do that, but sometimes I feel like if I explain it, then you'll understand it, because I'm a firm believer in all you're getting, get an understanding, because I don't want to be misunderstood when, even though I just say a simple answer as a yes or no, sometimes you might need to understand why I said yes or why I said no. That way you won't ask, especially if I said no. Instead of you asking me again, you already know why, so you won't come back and ask me again. But I get it. Some people don't want the long version. And I know, like with my son and everything, I told him that I'm that kind of person. I'm not going to sit here and be like, because I told you so, I'm not that parent. I'm going to explain to you why, and I'm going to give you a choice to make a decision. And when you make that decision, you need to know there's consequences with your decision. So if it's a good decision, then you're going to have consequences. And if it's a bad decision, then you're going to have consequences. But at least you know that you got the chance to make that decision. And when you made it, you knew why you was making the decision, not being tricked, fooled, or because I told you so. So now that's the way I am. So when he gets to being vulnerable, I understand why he's being vulnerable. Because there's times when he will make a decision and it backfire on him, and then he'll start telling me, okay, I'll give you a very good example. He had a cat. I'm not a cat person. I ain't gonna even sit here and pretend. I love dogs, puppies. I also like rabbits and ducks and horses and stuff like that. But it's just something about the cat. Cats are very independent to me, and I like to cuddle with my pets or rub on my pet and not feel like my pet is not going to want to be touched, you know? So, anywho, when he was at my dad's house for the summertime, and he gives me a phone call and he asks me, Mom, guess what I found? And I said, what did you find? I found a cat. I was like, oh no, not no stray cat. And he's like, but it's a baby. It's a baby. I'm like, oh, where's the mama at? I'm pretty sure the mother's somewhere around. No. It was just following me. Me and Grandpa was walking and it was following me. And at first I was like, gone. And then it kept on following me and kept following me and kept following me. Then the next day, me and Grandpa were walking again and it started following me again. So I just picked it up. I say, oh my goodness. And so he was like, can I keep it? Oh, I knew that was coming. And I was like, no, baby, you cannot keep the cat. But it's a baby. I said, is it eating regular food or is still on mommy's breast? You know, I need to know. And then my dad got on the phone and he was like, oh, it's eating regular food. I said, okay, well, that's a good thing. And I said, you must have put him up to this. You told him to call me and ask me this. And he was like, no, I really didn't. But I did tell him that he do got to get permission because when he go back home to you, he going to want to take that cat. And that was the problem with me right there, was when he come home. So I was like, dang. I said, well, you can keep the cat for the summertime, but maybe we'll have to keep the cat over to your grandpa's house because I'm not really into the cat thing. I'm sorry. And plus, on top of that, you're not going to take care of the cat. I know you. You're not going to pay no attention to this cat, and I'm going to have to do everything, and vice versa. My husband's going to have to do stuff, and then my husband was like, no, I don't like cats, no. And I was like, well, we'll see what we're going to do. So I said, well, you can go keep the cat over there while you're there for the summer. Well, to make a long story short, I ended up picking him up from my dad's house and then taking him to San Antonio, Texas, to my mother's house. Now, my dad, he in an environment where you can keep a pet. My mom, she's in an environment where if you're going to have a pet, you better have that pet inside, because whatever's on the outside is going to get it, because she's in the country, right? So my son, I told him, not only that I told him, my brother told him, my grandma told him, even his grandpa told him, even my husband told him, you cannot put this cat down, because if you put the cat down, it's going to either run off or one of these animals out here is going to get to it and tear that cat apart. Well, my son, that went in one ear, out the other. Because he's on his phone, not paying no attention. He put that cat down. And I really didn't pay much attention because I was in the house. And I was fixing up my mom's house. I was putting down some floors. And I do a lot of handiwork. So I was putting down some floors and I was painting the walls. And I was doing all that stuff, putting in a new air conditioning unit and stuff like that. I can do that. And I was doing that. I was doing all that. And this is summertime, remember that. So it's hot as I don't know what. I'm trying to put this AC and stuff like that together. And all of a sudden I heard this. I said, what is that? And then I turn around and I see my son in the room with me. I'm like, wait a minute. I said, where's the cat? And he was like, I don't know. What you mean you don't know? I just heard the cat screaming. And all of a sudden, I just knew the cat was gone. I felt it. And I was like hurt because I love animals. And I was hurt. I was more hurt than he was because even though I'm not into cats like that, I still love animals, okay? So, and there was some stray dogs that was out there. And that was the main reason why I told him not to put the cat down. And I say, son, I'm going to tell you right now, your cat is gone. And he was like, what are you talking about? I said, he gone. The cat is gone. I'm sorry, but that cat ain't here no more. The cat ain't with us on earth no more. The body is here, but the spirit is out of here. And he was like, I don't. And so he went outside. He started calling the cat by his name. Zozo, Zozo. And see, the cat was a girl. So he was like, Zozo. I said, Zozo ain't coming to you, baby. Zozo ain't coming. So, to make a long story short, and I keep saying that, but it's the truth. To get to the point, what ended up happening was that one of those stray dogs got to the cat. And it was a kitten. And that dog tore that cat up. And my brother found the cat under the house. And he was upset too. And he was like, I told him not to put that cat down. I said, I did too. And that's why I didn't want him to have a cat. Because he's not going to watch it and make good decisions. And I didn't want no cat. So after that happened, I would say probably a few weeks later, it really hit my son. Like hit him, realized that what happened was real. And my son was 10 at the time. So he came in me and my husband's bedroom. And he was like crying. And I said, what's wrong? He said, I miss Zozo. And I said, baby, I'm sorry, but we told you not to put the cat down and you didn't listen. So what are we supposed to do about that? And he was like, oh, he just bust out crying. And I said, come here. So I gave him a hug and I just held him. And I said, it's okay. I said, now you experience your first pet. And not only do you experience your first pet, you experience your first pet where something happened to this pet. And I'm glad you expressing yourself like this, because I was a little worried about you, because you didn't have no feelings at first. And I'm thinking like, whoa, 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 we need some feelings going on up in here. You should be feeling bad that cat's not here. And it took you to a few weeks, couple of weeks for you to start expressing this feeling. I'm glad that you're expressing your feelings, because that was a life. Just like you got your life, that cat had a life too. And then that's when he told me, I wish I would have made the choice to not put her down, and I would have listened to y'all. I told him, well, you learn a valuable lesson. And now that you got the opportunity to learn this lesson, I just want you to understand that when the next pet comes, because I am going to get a dog, that dog going to be mine, not yours. But I am going to need you to help me take care of the dog. So you get the opportunity to do this again, to try to do better this time. So now that I got this puppy, and it's a boy, it's a Yorkshire Terrier, nice, beautiful Yorkie, full bred, and he's so freaking cute. Oh my goodness. It's so adorable. And he's very smart. And his name is Cinnamon. So my son is crazy about him. He makes sure that he gets fed. He makes sure that he's watching over him. He plays with him. Oh, he just have a hunky-dory time. The rules that we got is that he can't go in your room, because your room be a mess. And I don't want him getting something in his mouth and choking on it. And of course, you got to be careful where you step at, because he's so small, so you don't step on him. And I'm telling you, different reaction altogether. So I have taught him how to be more open and more vulnerable. Okay. So let's talk about fear of abandonment. All right. There are many of us who experience this. Me, per se, I don't recall any moments of having any fear of abandonment. But I have been abandoned before, but not in a way to where it devastated me. So fear of abandonment is believing your partner will leave, even if there's no real indication that they will do it. It's just, you just have this in you. You're thinking about that they're going to do this. And my first husband, he abandoned me. He just left and he didn't come back. So I could easily say my next relationship, I should have had fear of abandonment, but it didn't. So when I found out what the reason why he left is because he got another girl pregnant, and his words, quote unquote, was, I knew that I hurt you, and I knew that if I would have stuck around, you would have probably killed me. And I was like, you know what? You made the right choice to leave. So, but I never had the fear of abandonment though. But I do understand it, because when he left, I knew he wasn't coming back. It's not that he just did one of those moments when he stormed out the house and be wanting me to chase after him. It was literally, it was different. And I said, oh, he ain't coming back. So I need to just figure out my next move, what I'm going to do. And yeah, that's pretty much what that was. Now, let's talk about over dependency on reinsurance. I have dealt with this one before. Frequently seeking validation or needing constant proof of love and commitment. Yes, that is a hard thing to do. It's so hard to where you can't even focus on your own well-being when you are constantly trying to reassure your partner that you love them and that you find them sexy, or you find them to be the love of your life. Like, I don't want this person to leave me. I love you so dearly. And I got to keep reassuring you about this. Over time, it become draining. So if you are that person that you always asking your partner, do you love me? Excuse me. I gotta get some water because my mouth is getting super dry. So if you are that person that you always asking your partner, do you love me? Why? Why do you love me? The person that you with shouldn't have to keep explaining themselves to you like that. They should not have to keep saying over and over again why they love you. You either believe them or you don't. It's just what it is. Because at some point, they're going to start questioning themselves, why do I love you? Because this is too much for me. Because now I'm sitting here thinking, yes, I love you, but you're draining me. And I need some breathing room. So please back off and let them express themselves to you when they're ready or when they want to in their own way. They shouldn't have to keep reassuring you over and over again that they love you, okay? And yes, they are committed to you. So if they're committed to you, then they continue to keep showing up for you. That should show you that they love you, okay? It's not always about words. And, of course, controlling behaviors. So these are signs of trust issues. Controlling behavior. Man, we already know I dealt with this. Narcissistic ex-husband, deceased husband. Yeah. He's not the only one, though. I had a boyfriend that was pretty much like this, too. Had controlling behavior. But that didn't last that long. That was like a 6-month relationship. And I was like, enough of this. For real. And that was before my deceased husband. So attempting to monitor or control the other person's actions or their ways just so they can feel secure, that's a sign of trust issues. And then emotional withdrawal. Shutting down emotionally to protect yourself from potential hurt, that is also a sign of trust issues. Now let's continue to go on. Let's talk about the effects of trust issues on your relationship. This is where you need to pay attention to. You have to pay more attention in this area because even though you have trust issues and this is all on you, if you want to keep your partner and you want a healthy relationship, well, this is what you're doing to your relationship with these trust issues that you have. You are emotionally distancing your partner from you. Trust issues can create a wall, okay? It create walls leading to feelings of discomfort and loneliness. You have the issue. Your partner is trying to break down this wall, chip it away. You study, keep putting the bricks right back up. They knock a brick down, you put the brick back. They're never going to get a chance to be able to be comfortable with you. So they're starting to feel discomfort, disconnected, not really feeling like you are wanting them because you're not giving them the opportunity to show up for you. And then they start feeling kind of isolated and lonely because your trust issues is driving that wedge between y'all two. Other effects on the relationship is constant conflict. Doubt and suspicious may spark arguments or lead to unresolved tension and create loneliness yet again. If you are constantly having trust issues with your mate, even if they did something wrong, and if you haven't resolved that issue, then you're going to keep revisiting the moments over and over again. So you have to figure out how to get past it. And if you can't figure that out, seek some outside help. Get some counseling who can actually help you sort out these issues, okay? And then you have reduce intimacy. This is when the lack of sex become very familiar, okay? You're not really enjoying each other sexually anymore. And not only sexually, emotionally, physically, and physical intimacy may decline, and it becomes more difficult to attain with the two of you. So if you are not seeking the help, then you are going to experience some lack of intimacy in your relationship. If you want intimacy, that is you being vulnerable, opening up, and then you have to start trusting your partner. You have to trust your mate, because intimacy is it's the glue that sticks together with trust and honesty. Put those two together, you have intimacy, because now you can open up with each other and explore all types of areas with each other, okay? And then the cycle of mistrust. You're going to keep repeating. You're going to constantly keep revisiting these issues. A lack of trust often lead to always having to defend yourself, defensive behavior, and also negative cycles in your relationship. You constantly keep having issues in that area. Something never goes right when you keep having these type of issues. And I'm talking about the issues where you keep bringing up past things, like something that happened to you, and then you keep bringing it back. I say your mate cheated on you. Let's just say that. But you say you forgave them, and then you come back in a relationship. That person is trying to move on, but you're not. Now you got to come back and revisit it because you just won't let it go. And because you won't let it go, now you're going to start arguing. That's where the conflict coming at. So you have to figure out if you're going to stay with the person. And if you are, then you need to truly forgive them and start trusting them again. But it's not easy to trust when a person has broken your trust. That is something that has to be rebuilt. So let's talk about how to address these issues. And I think this here is going to help you in this area of how to rebuild this relationship that you have with your mate, or build it anyway, because you might have never trusted your mate since the time y'all met. You was just going through the motions, okay? So now you have to learn how to just trust them. So we're going to talk about this. This is address these issues, okay? Let's talk about, you want to acknowledge the root cause. Identify where the trust issue stems from. Maybe it's from a past experience. Maybe it's from personal insecurities or any type of relationship dynamic. Wherever it comes from, you're going to have to address it, okay? So acknowledge it. And once you have acknowledged it and you know exactly where the root cause come from, well, now we can continue to move forward. So what you want to do next is to practice open communication. If you haven't been open before, it's time to open up now. All right? So you want to practice communication. You want to share your fears, your concerns with your partner, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. You want to share these concerns with them. Share your fears with them. And you want to do it in a non-conventional way. Don't do it where it's, I'm mad at you. Now I can tell you how I feel because I'm feeling safe to say it, because I don't care how you take it, if I hurt your feelings or not. No, you don't want to do it in that way. You want to do it in a way where it's like, We just having some conversation. We're conversing with each other. So I get the opportunity to tell you what's really been bothering me. And then you let it out. Okay? Then when you are in your communication, you want to be honest and transparent. You want to open up with honesty, okay? Consistent honesty builds a foundation of trust. Even small lies can mess up a relationship. It can take away the confidence of your relationship. Yep, even a very little lie that you thought that shouldn't be a big deal, because it makes your partner questioning you. If your partner start questioning you, they're going to start looking back in the past and start thinking about situations or scenarios or incidents where you told them something, and now they want to question, did you tell them the truth? All right? Was you honest about that back then? And then while you're talking and you're being honest and transparent, now you want to set some clear boundaries with you see, I talk about this boundary thing a lot. I do. I talk about this boundary situation because that's how you separate yourself from the hurt. This is how you separate yourself from getting hurt, okay? If you want to protect yourself from getting hurt, this is the way you do it. You do it by setting healthy boundaries. You set healthy boundaries. This would help you and your partner feel more respected and secure. All right. So you want to discuss what behavior fosters truth and what damages the truth. So what behavior that your partner is displaying that can help you stay open and let them in so you can trust them, okay? And it can be something as simple as you call me in the morning when you get to work and you just let me know that you at work. I want you to know that I like that. That helps me because it's allowing me to see you as the way you really are, that you are letting me into your life and you're not holding back on me. You're trying to show me that I can trust you. And because you do that, I need you to continue doing that. Okay. Then you got to tell them what is it that they might be doing that's damaging your trust with them. I say, for instance, back in the days, people used to call and say, oh, I'm working late. Now, they might really do be working late, but whenever they displayed that type of behavior on television or a movie, it usually follows with them cheating, right? And let's just use that as an example. So let's say that the damaging of that behavior could be they call you and be like, hey, honey, I'm not going to make it to dinner or whatever. I'm working late. And that's all they do. Well, over time, they keep doing it that way. You start thinking like, are they really working late or are they with somebody? You can let them know in the middle of your honesty and transparent communication that you're having with them. You can let them know, hey, when you are working late like that, I do need you to know that I start feeling some type of way. Like, are you really working late? Or could you be with someone else? I'm not saying that you are with someone else, but I do get those feelings. And if you are working late, it's okay. But can you sometimes just give me a call in the middle of what you got going on? Or shoot me a text and say, hey, baby, I'm thinking of you, or something, just to ease my pain. Eventually, I'll come out of it. They might say yes, they might say no, I ain't finna do all that. But just let you know, you're getting the opportunity to start working on your trust issues, okay? And then what you want to do from there is build trust gradually. Very slowly, okay? You want to start moving into it. So you're going to rebuild trust And you got to realize that it's going to take time. So focus on small, consistent actions that is very, and you have to demonstrate, okay? You have to demonstrate reliability and that is very caring, okay? You got to understand that what you're doing, you're learning to trust again, but you got to realize that this is not all about you. It's also about your mate too, because it's putting a strain on your mate. So you have to be caring in the process of you gradually learning to trust again. So you got to care about your mate's feelings. Care about their well-being too, because you could drive them away from you to where they're like, I don't know about this. This is just too much. And I guarantee you, they're going to probably be telling their friends or their relatives or somebody about you, saying, man, she requires a lot or he requires a lot. I don't know if I can, how much more I can continue with it this way. So this is why you got to be caring about them, okay? And you want to work on your self-esteem. Address personal insecurities that may fuel mistrust. Whatever that may be, you need to address it. You need to figure out why you like this. You might have some things in your mind that might be talking to you and saying, yeah, he say he's going to be working late, but I bet he with some woman right now. You need to change that. Change that thought. You have to challenge that. So what you want to do, you need to practice self-love, okay? You might say, what does self-love got to do with this? Easy. Self-love have a lot to do with this. Because, see, I love myself, and I trust my husband. And if he tells me I'm going to the gym, and I know my husband goes to the gym almost every day. He didn't go to the gym yesterday because he was sick, and he didn't go to the gym the day before that because he was sick. But I guarantee you, if he could have, he would have. Now, you might say to yourself, damn, who go to the gym every day like that? Well, he does. And my husband is a routine person. I know when he's doing something different. When he does something different, I will know it immediately because he don't change up very much. He is literally a robot. I mean, when he do something different, it's because I'm pushing him to change a little bit of something. You know, I'm like, babe, do something a little different today. He eat the same food. Oh, yes. You might say, oh, your husband is boring. I'd rather have a boring husband that I can trust than a husband that is all over the dang place that I can't trust. I learned that. I dealt with men who was very exciting, but then they was also everywhere and with everybody. And also understand that you better learn to accept what's good for you and recognize what's good for you. You also want to challenge negative thoughts. Your negative thought pattern. That's the reason why I wrote that book, 365 Days of Mindfulness, Your Daily Affirmation. You might want to get that. If you're having negative thoughts all the time in your mind, get the book, okay? It's on Amazon. It's on my website. Get the book. It's 365 Days of Affirmation. What it does is help you think positive thoughts about yourself to where you can learn to love yourself, okay? And you want to seek some professional help. So couple therapy. Couple therapy is really good. Also individual therapy. I always tell people it's good to get couple therapy, but you also need to have individual therapy because there's going to be things that you're not going to be able to say in couple therapy because your mate is sitting there with you that you're going to want to say when they're not with you. And you should be able to feel free enough to be able to talk about your deep issues. Any type of issue that you're having, whether that you need to discuss, whether it is something that you feel that is not working in your relationship, or you feel that is working in your relationship and you want to talk about it with your mate in couple therapy, but you want to go even deeper and further with just one-on-one therapy, that will help you a lot because you should be able to express yourself any way you want to without feeling stifled, okay? And then you want to practice forgiveness and let go. So, forgiveness. I got a whole podcast on forgiveness. That's going to be the next podcast that I talk about. That podcast is going to be about forgiveness. And I definitely want it to be separated from this because it's going to be pretty much another hour long podcast. But let's just talk about a little of it right now. Okay, so letting go of past hurt is essential for moving on. Forgiveness isn't about forgiving. It isn't about forgetting. Okay, it's about choosing not to let your past pain control your present and your future. I will talk more about that in the next podcast. So you want to also practice patience. Trust doesn't heal overnight. It just doesn't, okay? It takes time, okay? So please be patient with yourself, not only with yourself, but with your partner as well. So both of you are going to need to commit to the process and to avoid rushing each other, because your pace might be slower than your mate's pace, or your mate's pace might be slower or faster. And you want to make sure that I'm telling you now, if you start rushing your mate, or your mate is moving too fast, y'all gonna start arguing over just that alone. So you don't want to do that. So definitely be patient with each other. It is going to take time. Just like this trust situation, it developed in you over time. Sometimes it probably just happened overnight because something happened. But the point is that I'm making, it's easy to tear something down very quickly, but it takes time to build something up. Here are some signs that trust is being rebuilt. Look for this. This is how you're going to know, okay? Once you have done all those things to address your issue and some time has passed, significant amount of time has passed, these are the signs that you want to start looking for. You want to look for consistency in actions as well as words. They got to be lined together, and not only lined together, they got to continue over time, where you're no longer seeing that bad consistency happening anymore, because everything is lining up. His words or her words is lining up with their action. You can believe them because they're showing you, okay? And then you want to look for deeper, more honest communication. Not just the surface level communication where you're just talking about what you want to eat today. Oh, okay. You want some bread with that? So how was work? Oh, okay. Work was pretty good. Okay, that's good. So what you're doing tomorrow? Oh, okay. So you're going to go to hang out with your boys? Oh, okay. Oh, you're going to go shopping? Okay. All right. That's not communication. That's just telling each other what's going on for just that moment. But deeper communication, meaning like, babe, today, let me tell you what happened. I'm going to get deep into it, so please hear me out. Man, this girl, when we got to work, and this is and that and that and that. Now what you're doing, you're opening up and you're sharing with each other. And you're letting the person in. Okay? I felt like this, and man, I felt like that. And now they can start to be able to feel you out and read you more to say, okay, well, if she said that to her and she felt this way about it, let me make sure I don't do those things because I don't want to mess this up. Now they can start picking up on your desires and what you like and don't like without having to experience it for themselves, okay? And then you also have reduce suspicions and fear. So now they're not being so afraid of you leaving the house. They trust the fact that you're going to come home. You're not out there with somebody. And they ain't being all suspicious about, are you telling the truth or not? Those are the signs you need to be looking for, okay? As well as increase emotional and physical intimacy. You're starting to touch each other more. You're starting to talk more and cuddle more. And now you're having more sex. And it ain't forced. It's literally welcomed. You're welcoming more of it, and they're welcoming more of you. Okay? These are the signs you need to look for. And as well as you want to be able to share a sense of security with each other. You feel safe with your partner, and your partner feels safe with you. That is what it all boils down to. Okay? So trust issue doesn't have to mean that it's the end of a relationship. It's not the end of your relationship. It just means that you got to work on this stuff. Okay? So what you want to do is continue to put forth some effort. So with effort and understanding as well as commitment, be committed to each other. It is very possible to overcome these things. And you want to create a strong sense of understanding with each other. So when you create a strong sense of understanding, you will also create a more resilient bond with each other. So let me ask you a question. Before I let you go, I want to ask you this. What specific trust challenges are you thinking about at this moment? What is it that you're dealing with? And whatever that is, you need to start addressing it now. Okay? So, thank you. I'm signing out. Alayla.
Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.